Hey, John.
Hey, Eric. How you doing tonight?
I am doing.
You are doing. Well, that's not fabulous
I'm doing.
or fantastic.
Not fantastic either. Yeah. No, I am tired. I've been up late several nights and up early several mornings, and I have not been able to nap. So I'm a little tired. That's all good, though.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, tomorrow is another day.
Tomorrow is another wake up early day. It's all good.
It's all good.
It's fine.
Yep.
Fine.
Yep. And the rains have descended.
Yes, the rains have returned. But it wasn't bad over the weekend. I actually ended up doing some last minute grilling over the weekend.
Last minute grilling
before it started to rain. And I'm sure I will attempt to do some grilling still, as long, there's going to be some nice days here in the near future. So
I guess the nice thing about having a small amount of covered porch out back of my house, at least, is that and fake fire is that I grill like whenever I want to grill, even in the rain. The only problem with the winter is that sometimes we eat late, and so it's dark. And I have talked about and even got an estimate for having a light installed out there.
Yeah.
But I don't have easily accessible power.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but yes, I do you consider grilling hamburgers grilling? I made hamburgers this weekend on fake fire. It's like mini debits in the Eric measurement system. Yeah.
The other exciting thing, I guess, this weekend was pretty low. Not a lot going on this past weekend. The other, I suppose, exciting thing is we were at a friend's house doing game night with the family, and she had made these fantastic sourdough cinnamon rolls, which were super good. And so we were asked her about recipe and everything. And she was like, well, I have a sourdough starter. The starter's name is Wilma. And Wilma has been around for 100 years.
Are you kidding me?
So if you would like some of Wilma and you promise to feed Wilma, we will give you a chunk. So my daughter, who loves sourdough and I love sourdough too, but loves to cook, was like, I will totally take care of Wilma. So we have now in our house 100-year-old sourdough starter from a friend that we're looking forward to making some sourdough this weekend. So,
but now, how long do you need to feed your clone of Wilma before you can start taking pieces of her to cook? Clearly,
week.
Less than a week.
Yep. She gave us a pretty good chunk. Wilma, on her first feeding yesterday, exploded over the edge of the small jar she was in. And so now we've already transferred Wilma to a larger jar. So
okay, then.
So I am kind of excited about making some homemade sourdough bread, and we'll see how that goes.
I guarantee that I could not keep Wilma alive.
Well, that's still an open question for us, because my daughter and I have tried sourdough starter multiple times in the past. The lady who gave us Wilma said she's super easy to take care of. She's not too strong, so there's not a lot. It's just it's hard to kill. She says, I've killed sourdough starters before. I've had Wilma now for a long time. She got it from somebody else who got it from someone else, right? But she said, I've had a Wilma for a long time now, and I have yet to kill her. So we're hoping this is a more sturdy stock. Wilma of the sturdy sourdough stock. So,
all right, sourdough Wilma.
So maybe next week I will report on our sourdough bread forays.
I would like to hear, and I will actually mention to my wife that in some future time period you may have a sourdough starter that we could take some of.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the sort of thing that multiplies.
It does. You feed it, and you're fine.
All right. Well, that's exciting. That's really cool. That's really cool.
How about you? How was your weekend?
Oh, pretty laid back. My parents were in town this weekend, and we had a pretty relaxing weekend. I was trying to remember what we did on. They came in like late Saturday, and so
just passing through.
Just passing, yeah. They're snowbirding it down to Arizona, so they actually took off this morning, heading on down. So. Yeah, we didn't do that much. My mom did. We have a few grapes that are still around. So my mom picked some grapes and made. Actually, there's still raisins drying up in our dehydrator, and she made some grape juice, and so that was that was cool. I have been also just working a lot, so I and doing other things. So I pretty much after dinner was done, I've been like, and now I'm going to sit in my lazy boy and read for a few minutes before I go to sleep. But haven't really been that social or anything like that. But anyway, it was still good. The one funny thing happened last night though. So last week sometime, my son plays the oboe in high school, and so. And he said that there was a key that was sticking, and so I had dropped it off down at music store last, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, something like that, and they were supposed to call me the next day. They didn't. Blah blah blah. Anyway, suffice to say, they called me last night at 5:00 as I was driving home and said, "Hey, your oboe's fixed. We're open till 8 if you want to come by." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's your name?" He says, "Jason." I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, and I wasn't sure I would be able to do it, but we did. My boy and I, and my mom actually hopped in the car and went down, kind of caught them, at 7:30 or 7:45 or something like that, after dinner and such. And we totally pull up to the, it's a completely empty parking lot. Yes, the lights are on kind of in there, and we're like, this is not looking good. I'm like, but I totally talked to the guy just 3 hours ago. So the door is locked. So, but there was somebody behind the counter. So he comes, he unlocks the door, he comes and opens it up, and I'm like, oh, hey, are you Jason? And he says, yes. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for calling me. I was worried that the store was closed, but you had just said that, it was open till 8. And he kind of gave me this strange look. And I was like, but okay, whatever. He's like, what can I help you with? And I'm like, well, I'm here to pick up the oboe for John King. And he's like, oh, the other Jason. I was like, oh, I guess there can be two people that named Jason that work at a small music store.
You did not disambiguate, and neither did he.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, whatever. Anyway, so the oddity of the interaction where I was like, oh, hey, okay, so you're Jason. Thanks for helping me out, blah, blah, blah. And then,
right.
Anyway, it's a super dumb anecdote, but it was just a weird, funny moment last night.
But you got the oboe and it's all fixed.
Yeah, it was the whole reason I had taken my son was because I can't play an oboe. And so he threw a reed in and was very excited about
he tested it out, make sure it was fixed before you left the car lot. Yeah,
exactly. Before we left the store, there was nobody else in the store. I mean, it was just Jason.
It closes. Jason was long gone, and then Jason was there. Like, why is Jason telling people it's still open till 8? Because I'm Jason, and I know we close at 7.
Exactly. Who knows? Because yeah, I mean, I get in and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure we would. I mean, I figured we'd make it because we had time. We had an hour, and it wasn't an hour away.
Right.
But when we got into the car, I put it into Google Maps, and Google Maps is, said that they close at 6. And of course, gave the warning that says, the store may be closed by the time you get there.
By the time you get there.
And I'm like, well, no, because I know what Jason told me. Anyway, it was all funny.
Nice.
Fun and games.
All righty.
Hey. So I threw one little piece of follow-up in here, which was that... for the WebP vulnerability, Microsoft has now announced that they have fixed, or vulnerabilities. Microsoft has announced that they have deployed fixes for Edge, Teams, Skype, and WebP image extensions, which I guess is some Microsoft component that you can presumably integrate.
Okay.
But so there you go. There was some minor commentary on TechCrunch that Microsoft neither confirmed nor denied and may not ever even have the ability to tell whether or not they were exploited.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But they're now fixed, which is good.
Nice.
Which is good. So There you go. A little bit of follow up. What'd you bring for topics tonight?
So I got a quick one. We're all familiar. We've talked about have I been pwned in the past numerous times. Like you put in your email address and see if it's been hacked or, a part of some breach somewhere. Well, now there's a website called Have I Been Squatted? And this is looking for various types of typo squatting for any domain. So you go here to see, and it tells you what type of typo squatting has occurred. Is it a new TLD? Is it a keyword? Is it a bit squatting? Is it a replacement text where you replace a character?
Nice.
So it's kind of this fun little website that gives you not only something that is very similar to your name, it does analysis I put in my lastname.com because I own Wheeler.com and I put that in and it found other things with names, although they're probably legit, like Wheeler with an I instead of a U. I think that's a legit last name. So that's probably somebody for real. So I guess you got to kind of just take the data and go, okay, maybe. But I thought it was a fun little website. Have I been squatted? So if you own domains, you can go see. Or look up very popular domains and see what types of permutations clearly someone is doing. And it doesn't tell you who. It just tells you, hey, for that domain, here's a bunch of typo squatted. So the company that owns the original may own the typo squatted one. You don't know. It just gives you kind of list of, hey, here's some other domains. And it's kind of fun. So there's that one.
Uh-huh. I see this. This is cool. I like it.
It's kind of fun.
Well done. Who is this? Who did this?
I do not know. It's just, let's see. It doesn't really give
there's no about, there's no nothing.
Or about or anything. It's just kind of there.
Interesting.
Anyways, so there you go. That's just a quick one. If you own domains, go check out Have I Been Squatted? Fun one. And then the other one, I noticed, because this happened to me as I was logging into Google earlier, I think this week. Google now is enabling passkeys. We've talked about passkeys before. Mm-hmm. We actually first mentioned passkeys in the context of Apple introducing passkeys almost a year and a half ago, episode 235, a leaky bike bucket. We talked about passkeys. But so you go to log into your Gmail account today, it will say, hey, would you like to use a passkey? And so Google is starting to make that the priority. You can still turn it off if you want, but passkeys are very easy to set up and use. I have not fully embraced the passkey lifestyle, despite kind of saying how cool I think it is yet. I'm waiting to see more and more different websites start to use them. So a lot of Google properties are starting to add them. YouTube has added them. And even recently, Uber and eBay have enabled passkeys. So and I know 1Password, yours and my favorite password manager, now supports passkeys as part of a 1Password integration. So I'm getting close to taking the dive, but just not quite yet. So
yeah, I literally just unlocked 1Password and it says, "What's new? Save and sign in with passkeys."
Yep. So good stuff. So if you have a Google account, which at least half the planet does, I think, you can now use passkeys, which is just like a fingerprint, face scan, PIN, anything along those lines to unlock your account. So There you go. That's what I saw today. Have I been squatted? And here come the passkeys.
Here come the passkeys. Skip password when possible, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Go.
All right. I haven't yet done that, but maybe I'll go try and do that for my Google account.
I'm getting close. Just get a few more different platforms and services. Got them set up. I can see how their failure cases work. How do you recover?
Exactly.
And then we'll go from there.
So don't do Gmail first and foremost, is what you're saying.
What I would just kind of hinting at that one,
All right. Okay, so I have two articles. First one is a Confluence CVSS score of 10.
Perfect marks. Well
yes, done. Yeah, well done.
Perfect 10.
Stuck the landing remotely, so to speak. So I think the link that I'll put in here is actually to the Atlassian advisory. So they're calling it a privilege escalation vulnerability. Attackers may have exploited a previously unknown vulnerability in publicly accessible Confluence data center and server instances to create unauthorized Confluence administrator accounts and access Confluence instances. So if remotely you can create a new administrator account, the world is your oyster, or at least the Confluence is your oyster. So, and then there's a minor little update below this that says, update, we have evidence to suggest that a known nation-state actor is actively exploiting the CVE and continue to work closely with our partners and customers to investigate. So, at least within this, I didn't see any more than that. And win.
Okay.
It's published. I think I don't see a date on this article or on the posting. Oh, last modified October 10th. So I guess that's yesterday, as we're recording this at least. So of course the fix. They didn't describe the vulnerability in detail, although there was a Rapid7 blog that I read that said that they had been able to replicate this. But the fix obviously is deploy an update. Always, assuming you can deploy updates. But then there was a workaround that they had if you go into XML file basically and configure it so that the setup action or setup/star, I think it was, couldn't be accessed remotely. So presumably it was something within that path. And then let's see, the other thing I was going to say on this is they had a number of things to look for to decide whether you're compromised. I guess a couple of things. The first of which is that for whatever reason, and again, it wasn't said in here, but that the Atlassian cloud version was not vulnerable. So this is only for people who are hosting it themselves. But that, there's a number of things to look for to try and figure out whether or not you are potentially compromised. Mm-hmm. They're basically saying, we can't do it ourselves, but you have to have your security team go and look at it. But looking for, unexpected members of the Confluence administrators group, unexpected newly created user accounts, requests to the setup/star.action. It says in network access logs, or the presence of setup administrator.action in an exception message in the security log. So, that was kind of nice for some not complete IOCs, but some, debugging info.
Right.
But,
okay.
Yeah. So that was the first one, a pretty severe,
gold medal for Confluence
vulnerability. Yeah, clearly remotely exploitable if your Confluence server is exposed to the internet. The second one that I pulled out was said record-setting distributed denial of service attacks against Google, AWS, and Cloudflare using HTTP2. So, and they call it HTTP2 rapid reset, but there's there's a little diagram that's supposed to be showing the network request, but it's basically like send a HTTP2 request, and then evidently in stream you can send a reset. And so it's make a request, send a reset, make a request, send a reset, make a request, send a reset, make a request, send a reset. Because each request kind of forces the web server to do a bunch of work, and then as it's trying to decide, how to hand it back, it then has to drop it. So
right.
It says, while the attacks aimed at Google's cloud infrastructure peaked at 398 million requests per second. Whew. The ones that struck AWS and Cloudflare exceeded 155 and 201 million requests per second, respectively. So yeah, 398 million requests per second.
Wow.
Which, yeah. Let's see. I did pull it out here because it said the crucial aspect of this is that such attacks can be pulled off using a modestly sized botnet, something to the tune of 20,000 machines.
Oh wow!
As opposed to needing hundreds of thousands of machines. It says initiating hundreds of thousands of HTTP2 streams and rapidly canceling them at scale over an established connection, threat actors can overwhelm websites and knock them offline. So yeah, not needing a large number of machines is critical. So the one other fact I pulled out of this was that it says HTTP2 is used by 35.6% of all. It says all the websites, according to W3 Techs. It's all the websites.
All the websites belong to us.
Exactly. There you go. The percentage of requests that use HTTP2 is at 77%. So presumably, because I can do minor comparisons in my head, that means many of the popular websites use HTTP2, aka. Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder. I thought YouTube had moved entirely to HTTP3. Anyway, so there you go. So huge distributed denial of service attacks, and using HTTP2, and there were blogs by the article we'll put in here is a Hacker News article, but I read a blog by Google. And I'm sure Cloudflare has the same. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Cool.
There you go. All right. How about something fun?
Okay. So my something fun, fortunately, you reminded me of my something fun because I had actually read the article this morning in the New York Times, but we had talked about a few weeks back the OSIRIS-REx that jumped on the asteroid, grabbed the sample and brought it back to Earth. It landed in the Utah desert a few weeks ago, and now they're having a big reveal today. So NASA, you can go watch the YouTube video. We can link the YouTube video here. You can watch the YouTube video of them basically showing the open container, and you can look at the dirt, gravel, the sample, the dust and rock that was gathered from that asteroid. Anyway, so the big reveal was that the collection, they just have opened it. They're still got tons of stuff. And apparently there was so much sample. They were hoping to get 60 grams, two some odd ounces of stuff. And they got almost 5 times that amount. And so they're being very careful. They, it's put some delays in things because they had way more than they expected, which, hey, is a good thing. And so one of the things that they talked about was it looks like it shows evidence of high carbon content and water in the asteroid. Huh. So they're, building blocks of life on Earth found in the rock, the asteroid floating through space. All right, so
and water.
Yes, the content is almost a dense I think one of the people I watched the video said dense clay almost that had water content in it. I don't remember the exact words. It wasn't like there's water now dripping out of it. It was inside the stuff inside the sample was evidence of water, is how they phrased it.
Really?
So
really, okay. I asked you about this, but I have not read the article, and I was asking you more in the lines of, hey, isn't it about time that happened? So I need to go watch the video.
Yeah. So the YouTube video, you can kind of jump through it a little bit because it's a big reveal. They have background. It's 15, 20 minutes long. But the best part is they show it, and then they have a Q&A with the scientists that first opened it, and they talk about it as to what they saw, why it's taking longer. And the expectation is they're going to provide 70% of the samples to the scientific community. Where, I don't know how it works. You apply for, hey, NASA, send me a couple grains
of a gram,
a dirt or what, asteroid dust. I don't know how it works, but they are making it available to scientists worldwide. So, anyways, really cool.
How in the world do they transport that and keep it pristine and not contaminated?
They talk about how when they moved it and they brought it in, they had it was liquid nitrogen around it or something. They had nitrogen all around it to keep basically a vacuum around it till they got it into the safe room to then start to pull it apart and open it, so they could open it where it would have no earthly contaminants affect it as they opened it. So you can see the pictures they show pictures and cameras of it, and I don't know, it's fun.
Okay, I'll watch it. I will totally watch it.
If I'm completely honest, it was a little bit anticlimactic.
A little underwhelming.
It's like, some cool rocks and dust. Got it. But as you think about where it came from and how long they've been trying to get this and how it, they sent a rocket to an asteroid, bounced off the asteroid, grabbed the dust as a result of the bounce, and then flew home. I don't know how many millions of miles or whatever it was. So
it's pretty crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane. Good stuff. Anyways.
That's very good stuff.
Check out the video.
Okay, will do. All right, well, my something fun tonight is also space-ish related.
Nice.
In the sense that we are driving down Friday, down to Southern Oregon, to watch the solar eclipse Saturday morning.
Cool. Yeah, because isn't that like right in the path? Like directly under it.
Literally,
even Portland's not too far off it, right? Where we live is not too far off the path.
Yeah, you might be able to see. And actually, if you are interested, I don't know if I'm going to see you in person at all. I bought a 10-pack of glasses from Amazon, and there are 4 of us. So I think I'm sure I've mentioned that the 2017 solar eclipse was awesome. Super amazing. Yep. Like, very cool experience. Mm-hmm. And then when my son went to Southern Oregon for college, we were like, and then we knew that was going to happen. And then it was like, and the solar eclipse on October 14th is going to be visible from Southern Oregon. We're like, hey, convenient. 2 birds, 1 stone. Nice. So we're going to go down there. It is going to be an annular eclipse or an annular solar eclipse, which evidently is when the moon, it's, both a total and an annular solar eclipse are when the moon passes between the sun and the earth. But the annular happens when the moon is at, I don't know about farthest, but is farther away from the earth. And so it does not completely cover the sun. So it'll get...
Okay. You get the big ring.
You'll have a ring of fire. Or somebody said it's like a song or something like that.
Johnny Cash.
So Ring
of Fire.
Exactly. So it says, let's see, Because the moon is farther away than from the Earth, it appears smaller than the sun and does not completely cover the sun. As a result, the moon appears as a dark disk on top of a brighter disk, creating what looks like a ring around the moon. The next annular eclipse in the U.S. will be on October 14th, 2023. Not far away. So I know the next total solar eclipse is going to be in April next year. And then I thought I read that that hits the U.S., continental U.S. And then after that, it's not until 2044. So it's
I'll be very old
next
then.
year, and then a long time. But anyway, so I'm excited. I'm excited for the solar eclipse. We'll see
cool.
how it goes. I'm hoping to get a couple pictures with the phone. We'll see. Cameras in cell phones have improved substantially between 2017 and 2023. So
yeah,
that'll be cool.
Well, super cool, John.
That'll be cool. All right, man. Well, call it a show. Have a great week. Have a great weekend.
Yeah,
I will be
talk
back
to you next
Sunday.
week. You can tell me about solar eclipses, and I'll tell you about sourdough.
Sounds good. It's a deal.
Right.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
Bye.